Hi, Yuanfan. Let's take a look at this new set of essays that you've submitted us. Now we have a process diagram, so let's see what you did here. The graph demonstrates how to generate electricity through geothermal energy. The first step is to pump down cold water into a geothermal zone to heat it, and the final step is to drive the generator turbine via steam. All right, that's lovely. The other thing that I would probably suggest when you're doing a process diagram, I like that you had the first step and the last step, but a good idea is also to tell us how many steps there are in total. So just something like the process has a total of, what does it say here? 5 steps? Yeah, so you could say the process has a total of 5 steps where the first step is this and the final step is this. So just that one little detail makes this an overview that is, that you can't find any holes in it at all. So it's just perfect. Let's move on. Firstly, cold water is delivered into the injection well. Okay, fine. Located 4.5 kilometers below the ground. Okay, that's a more accurate way of saying this. The injection well injects the water injects something into the production well through the geothermal zone. This is awkward. You could have said, not as known as, but you could have said, which consists of hot rocks. So why is it a geothermal zone? Because there are lots of hot rocks there. That's what that means. Having been heated up, because this is passive voice here, having been heated up by the hot rocks, the hot water in the production well, okay, is pumped up to the ground where a condenser is located. Fine. The water is back. Here I would like the water is back on ground level, condensed in the condenser to produce steam. Now, another word, rather than saying condensed in the condenser, which feels kind of obvious and a little redundant, is you could have said it is processed in the condenser to produce steam, which is used to drive the turbine. A generator linked to the turbine can produce electricity for downstream usage. Okay, fine. In general, a geothermal power plant takes advantage of the underground geothermal zone to heat water and produce steam to drive the turbine connected with a generator, the main facility that produces electricity. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I thought this was really quite good. There were a couple little areas of awkwardness in terms of language this time, so a little bit of vocabulary, a little bit of grammar, but minor things. On the whole, I thought it was a very well-written task one. Most students find process diagrams very challenging to write, and I thought you did a nice job with this. But just, a couple of those little things, little details, because I know you're aiming for that really, really high score. Okay, do you have a task 2 for us? Yes, you do. The topic is, some people believe that allowing children to make their own choices on everyday matters is likely to result in a society of individuals who only think about their own wishes. Other people think that it is important for children to make decisions about matters that affect them. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Okay, fantastic. Let's see what you did here. Some believe that a society full of people who solely think about their wishes. Just want to make sure that you changed around the language a little bit. You see, they used wishes and you used wishes too. You could have changed that, okay? Their own desires, their own wants. So just, show that you also have novel vocabulary and that you don't need to use the language from the prompt. Okay. Some people believe that a society full of people who solely think about their own desires would occur if children are allowed to make their own choices, plural here, on everyday matters, including food, clothes, and entertainment. Now, let me point out something here. They gave you these examples, but when it's in a parenthesis like this, and they're giving you examples such as clothes, food, and entertainment, you don't need to talk about those particular items. They're just trying to help you in terms of like how to kind of shift your thinking. So I don't want you to feel like you absolutely need to use those. You don't need to, okay? You could have come up with your own, or you could have just not mentioned anything here, okay? So, including food, clothes, and entertainment. While others believe, all right, hold on a second, let me read something here. Yeah, you need to be careful with the use of while because it's essentially a word that links two opposing sentences or two opposing clauses. Here, you left it on its own. While others believe it is essential for minors to make decisions that affect them. If you're going to use while at the beginning of the sentence like this, then you needed to have another clause that followed that showed some sort of contrast. So, if you had combined these two sentences together, then that would have made for a very long sentence, and I don't entirely advocate that. So what I would suggest instead is keeping these as two separate sentences, but having a different word here instead of while. So one word I think that would have fit really nicely here is however. So let's try that. However, others believe that it is essential for minors to make decisions that affect them. From my perspective, I strongly disapprove of the first argument since making decisions is a practical way to become independent. Instead, the second statement might be the reason to have a world with selfish people. Okay, interesting. Let's see what you wrote. All right, I don't know why there's a furthermore here. This is your introduction. Now you've got a body paragraph, and starting a body paragraph with furthermore feels really not so appropriate. So that's one thing I want to change. Then, rather than following the appropriate structure for a body paragraph, you've gone straight into a piece of support here, which is not really the best way to start off your paragraph. What I want to recommend is having a topic sentence, and then your topic sentence basically introduces what you're going to talk about in that paragraph. So it could be, for example, something like, it is clear that allowing children to make decisions is very important for the development. Okay, then you could say your first main idea. So why is it important that for children's development? It gives children confidence, which is important for their overall growth. And then you could say that studies have shown that children who were able to select their clothes from age 4 and above had higher self-confidence, better self-esteem, and were better adjusted as teenagers. Okay, so that would be the appropriate way to do this. Topic sentence, then your main idea, and then support. But here you kind of skipped over those two first things and you went straight to support. Also, we don't use kids in IELTS essays. It's considered very informal. And you want to avoid this for sure, okay? Use the word children. If you don't want to use children, if you feel like you're overusing it, then there are other words you can use instead. You could say young people. If you're talking about little kids, you could even say infants. If you're talking about them in terms of education at school, you could say students, pupils. I don't know how appropriate that would be here, but there are other words you could use. One word that a lot of people like to use and I'm never really a fan of is offspring. Offspring, I always kind of think of baby animals and not so much humans. And so it has that kind of association. In any case, let's avoid kids and write children instead. So, let's see what you said here. Furthermore, according to research conducted by Monash University, not it tracked, that's awkward here. 100 children aged 8 years old, that's awkward. Okay, let's try this again. 100 8-year-old children were tracked for 20 years. The results indicated that children who can make their own choices about everyday life had the capability of leaving others and showed a more independent personality than those restricted to making decision only regarding themselves. Than those restricted from making decisions regarding themselves. Makes more sense to me here. In my opinion, this is a demonstration. No, this is a little awkward. In my opinion, this points out the importance of having children make choices. Okay, so I want you to take a look at the length of your paragraphs. You can see that you have this introduction that's about 6 lines long, and then you've got a body paragraph that's about 5 lines long. That should be your kind of, alarm saying, uh-oh, I didn't develop my body paragraph enough. We might have talked about it in the previous set of essays you sent us, but your introduction should be kind of minimal. It has very specific job to fulfill, and that's it. You don't want to spend too much time on it. Instead, what you want to do is you really want to develop and add kind of meat to your body paragraph. So seeing that this is actually shorter than introduction, for me, raises an alarm, and it should have been your clue that this was underdeveloped, which it in fact was. Partially because you didn't have a main idea, you didn't have a topic sentence to introduce all of this. Okay. In contrast, children might develop a selfish characteristic. Well, maybe you don't mean a characteristic, but maybe you mean a selfish character when they only make decisions about themselves. Okay, I came back to this because I think that you've misunderstood here. You've misunderstood something. Because you keep saying children might develop a selfish characteristic when they only make decisions about themselves. That's what this is about. In other words, they're saying that we should allow, some people think that, you know what, like, let children make decisions about stuff, about their food, about their clothes, about their entertainment. On the other hand, there are other people who say, no, don't let kids make these decisions about their food, about their clothes, about their entertainment, because it's just going to have a lot of really selfish people. Okay, so I don't understand why you keep saying here only. I saw you write it somewhere else, and I wasn't really sure about it, but here it definitely feels wrong. So let me try it again. In contrast, children might develop a selfish character when they make decisions about themselves. Now, besides is considered very informal, so you might want to get rid of that. How about additionally or furthermore? Furthermore, they might not be able to make decisions irrelevant to them when they become an adult. In the end, the society would, how about consist of plenty of people only considering themselves. I have a cousin, Tommy, whose parents took care of him thoroughly. He does not care about the environment and considers others' feelings. That doesn't work. He does not care about the environment, nor does he consider others' feelings. The only thing he knows is his benefit. I do not tend to think this is a good way to raise children. Okay, now here there's a little issue with your development, because it's fine if you want to use an example from your own personal life. That's okay. But the fact that you say here that his parents took care of him does not necessarily mean that they did not allow him to make any choices or give him any decision-making opportunities. So you have to be careful with the way you've expressed this. Okay? Let's see. That's why I kind of feel like you've misunderstood what you're supposed to be writing here. All right, let's move on. In conclusion, having minors make decisions about everyday matters is a good practice to become an independent person. On the other hand, if children only have to worry about choices related to them, they might become selfish and independent. Okay, yeah, you've misunderstood this. When they say make their own choices, it means make their own choices about things that relate to them, the food they're going to eat, the clothes they're going to wear, and the entertainment they're going to partake in. That's what they meant here. Okay, and that some people think this is important because, you know, they should have choices, they should develop their own character, and then other people think, no, if we let kids decide what food they're going to eat, what clothes they're going to watch, not what clothes they're going to watch, what food they're going to eat, what clothes they're going to wear, etc., then we're just going to have a lot of selfish people. Okay, so I definitely feel like you've misunderstood this topic a little bit, and so it's part of the reason why the development of your second body paragraph felt a little not really appropriately developed. Okay, so let's see. I think I covered everything. Do let me know if you have any questions about the feedback in this set of essays. So as you can see, there were a number of things here. The problems that I found were related to task achievement for sure, coherence and cohesion for sure, as well as a few things related to vocabulary. Okay, so it looks like this is an additional single essay that you've purchased. I want to invite you and encourage you to sign up for an essay package. See if that's something you want to do, and I look forward to seeing more of your work. Good luck.